Other people can join as we as they enter. They'll just miss part of it, but this is being recorded. So without further ado, I do want to talk about the LA County housing update, but first I wanted to start off with some summer fun photos. I always like to start off with funny photos, and this is no exception. So so here are some fun photos for the summer. If 2020 was a car, if 2020 was a man bun, if 2020 were a piñata, not hitting that. Don't knock unless I married you, birthed you, or ordered food from you. And we've done that quite a bit. Pinterest trying to explain the coronavirus to crafty people in a way that they may understand. If 10 people are crafting at a table and one of them is using glitter, can you guess how many projects now have glitter on them? A lot. Just when you thought the summer of 2020 couldn't get any worse. Yes, don't fall asleep while holding a beer. This has been a pinky toe to the bed frame kind of year. I'm gonna say I've actually done this. Actually, it's typically my knee knocks into our headboard. Or wash your hands like you just. Wash your hands like you
joined the meeting.
Wow. Wash your hands like you just cut habaneros and have to take your contacts out. If you come into a store without a mask, we will have to take your temperature. P.S. We only have rectal thermometers. Please distance yourself at least 6 feet apart or the average length of a CVS receipt. Thank you. And this is actually, if you can tell, it's in a CVS. So nice to acknowledge one of the issues that we have. So my background is I'm a quantitative economics and decision sciences major from UC San Diego in La Jolla. 29 years in the business, Orange County native, Capitol Valley High School grad, 9 kids, and I am an avid runner. And I'm a Brady Bunch kind of family. I brought the 6 on the right. My wife brought the 2 on the upper left. I adopted her, she adopted mine, and then we had this bonus guy, Zeke, and he's being potty trained during this lockdown that we've been experiencing. So he's doing quite well because we've been locked down for a while now. I've also been asked to speak at various publications, PR throughout Southern California and across the US, and even Financial Times of London. And our company is Reports on Housing. It's your local real estate snapshot. And most reports they talk about closed sales data. And CoreLogic is the one we hear the most of, at least quoted in a lot of different newspapers and also on news reports. But that's a reflection of past data. And if you're a buyer or seller and you're in the marketplace today, you can hardly care what the papers are saying about what's happening with closed sales data, because that's a reflection of what's happened in the past. And you don't really want to be looking over your shoulder as to what's going on right now in front of your face. So instead, rather than look at closed sales data, what we look at is the supply of homes. That's the total number of homes on the market. That's the active listing inventory. That's the supply. And we look at demand. And demand is what we call the last 30 days of pending sales. So we look at that, and that'll give us the velocity of the market. So based upon supply, inventory, and demand, pending sales, we come up with something called expected market time. If you place your home on the market today, when do you expect to open up escrow? And it's different from city to city. It's different from county to county. It's also different from price range to price range and attached versus detached. And we follow all of those.
Join the meeting.
So it's all about setting your expectations. We have a housing report in LA, Orange County, Riverside, San Bernardino, and San Diego counties. And here's what the reports have looked like this year, starting with, we started off with different reports at the very beginning of the year because we were humming on all cylinders and everything was hot. And then we got to everything went to heck in a handbasket, and now we have this V-shaped recovery that we've all experienced. And then we talked about at the beginning, that was the end of May. Then we were talking about in June, hotter than last year. So the market is actually hotter than a year ago. And I'll show you that too later on in the presentation. And then seize the day. That was basically a report that was talking about why it's a really good time to purchase, as well as why it's a really, really good time to place your home on the market if you're a homeowner. And then we talked about luxury returns. So luxury was getting hit pretty darn hard, and then it actually came back stronger than it's been in years. And we'll go over that. The most recent one that came out a week ago, last Monday, is called Why Do Some Homes Sit? This is what it looked like in San Diego. We did it for Los Angeles as well. If you were to subscribe to the report, you'd get the most recent report, which is this Why Do Homes Sit? And you can see, so we have this cover page, and then it goes on to what we're going to talk about. And we tackle one big issue per report that we want to talk about, that is something that we want to bring to everybody's life. This next one is going to talk about what to expect for the rest of the year. That's going to come out this coming up Monday for Los Angeles. Orange County and Los Angeles and San Diego come out next week, and then San Bernardino and Riverside came out this week, so we alternate weeks. So this is what we have sitting on the market. You have homes that are sitting, and we'll go into that in detail. But the way the reports look at, we have the main section, and then we go over the active listing inventory and where it's at compared to prior years. This is a total reformat of the report. We did it and launched it in this last, the one a week ago on Monday that just came out. And then we also track demand. That's that last 30 days worth of pending sales. And how was it compared to last year and actually the last few years? And we also talk about the expected market time as well, where it's at right now, where was it a year ago. Then we have a little piece called Luxury End, and we talk about what's going on in the luxury arena. We look at where things are going right now recently, and we compare it to numbers of last year, and we compare it from range to range. And then we have a housing summary. So LA is, of course, LA County Housing Summary. A lot of people take the summary and put it on Facebook, their blogs or websites. You can't put the whole entire thing. We do have links at the bottom of the report for excerpts. And this is what the report looks like as far as the market time. I give the number of actives. We break it down by city. For the big, gigantic city of Los Angeles, we actually break it down by area, and besides putting all of the city of LA. So we look at what the active listing inventory is today, what does demand look like over the last 30 days, and pending sales. And then we look at the expected market time right now. And then we look at the expected market time 2 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 1 year ago. And then next year, when we hit our 2-year anniversary in February, we'll have a 2-year column. That's all filled out. We also look at attached versus detached, and we look at all homes, and we look at the various ranges. You can see, you want to know what the expectations are for the different ranges. And then we have, we do closed sales. I don't talk that much about closed sales, but I do have it here. We have closed sales this year compared to last year. What's the average sales price, average list price, list sales price ratio, the highest and lowest sales. And then we have a distress report where we talk about how many distressed properties are in various areas. Then we do it by attached, detached, all homes, all that good stuff. And we have a Southern California report as well, where we talk about how's the market in each of the various counties in Southern California. So you can go to reportsonhousing.com and click on subscribe. That's REPORTS, reportsonhousing.com. And we have an FAQ and sample report section. You can actually see what our sample reports, just like the one I just showed you right now, to kind of test drive it, see what it looks like. And then we have at the bottom of every email, and we email these out to you. These are emailed out to you, and when you receive it, excuse me, at the very, very bottom are a bunch of links. And so if you subscribe today, we'll send you that last one with things, how they're sitting on the market in all ranges, regardless of how hot the market is, and we explain why. And this is at the bottom of the report. We have a PDF version for printing it out. We have a Word version for copy, cut, edit, paste, use it in a postcard, get it to a Sphere of Influence via a newsletter. A lot of people even forward our email out to their Sphere of Influence, past clients and potential buyers and sellers. There's a lot of Excel sheets. There's an excerpt, like I said, for all social media and publicly facing websites. And then we have lots of charts we update every single report as well. It comes out every 2 weeks. We do it on Thursdays. So there's 2 weeks, 2 months out of the year where you get 3 reports. They happen to be May and October this year. So you go and you subscribe. It's $15 per month or $150 per year. You get a month free if you sign up using the coupon code Arcadia. So you go to reports, REPORTS on housing.com. And then when you're going to check out, use Arcadia as a coupon code and you get a month free. And I do have a Facebook Live that we do. We call them Housing Debrief. I've already done 34 episodes. I was doing them Tuesday and Friday. And this is the first week where I do not do it on Tuesday. We're now only doing it on Fridays because the market is heated up. But I talk about Southern California as a region. It's actually on my not my Facebook business page, but my personal page. But I make it open to anyone. I actually don't have any room for any more friends on Facebook because I've hit the 5,000 mark. But my Facebook Live is at SoCal Steven. So if you go to facebook.com/SoCal Steven, you'll find me. And it's 3 p.m. on Fridays. So let's talk about coronavirus. And people go, hey, Stephen, why are you always talking about coronavirus? And that is because, hey, there's a reason for it. And what I want to avert is a W-shaped recovery. And why I'm concerned about that is if it got way out of hand, we could see this. We're starting to see some improvement in the overall economy. But if it got way out of hand and it did not start to dissipate, we could go to a point where it affects the economy again, and we have further economic damage, what we call a W-shaped recovery. Because right now we're on the rise, but if things got worse or the second phase, we didn't take it seriously, which is supposed to be in the fall/winter, we could go back down again, which would not be pretty, and it would affect real estate. And as far as the number of cases around the world, we're right now at almost at 15 million. We should be there today at 15 million. And of course, the United States is by far number one as far as the number of total cases. In the world, we were at 13,360,000 a year ago. We're at 14,980,000 as of this morning. So you can see how rapidly things are moving. And if you look, this is taken from a place where I get my data. I have to have real solid data. I've vetted everywhere where I get my data to see how strong it is, and I only bring the stuff that's the best. And this, this is the 7-day moving average for the increases. And you can see the 7-day moving average has been increasing nonstop for about the last 80 days. And it was at 213,400 that we were averaging for the last week for placing every single day as far as new COVID-19 cases. And now we're at 231,900 every single day for the last week average. So just in the last week, it continues to rise, the weekly average. And this is the United States at 3,900,000. And LA is number 2 behind New York City. There is going to be a time, because of New York has really slowed down, but LA continues to grow, where it's going to get closer and closer. I don't know if it's going to reach New York City levels, but it's definitely getting closer. It's way surpassed Cook County, Illinois. I've been doing this for such a long time. I've been watching LA come up the list, and that's the second most impacted county in the US is LA. And as far as the United States is concerned, you can see here, you can see here that we were at 66,800 cases for the average for the last week on a daily basis. And now, it was at 62,200. Now it's at 66,800, and it's starting to plateau. If you look at this, we're actually seeing a plateau where we're at a plateau where we were at day 35 way on the left, but now we're at a plateau that's much higher. So we're still adding a lot of cases. We still need to see this come down like we've seen in so many other countries around the world. We thought that we had hit the apex at 35 days and it was supposed to come down, but then we plateaued and then we started to unlock and then it just absolutely skyrocketed. And this is from the University of Washington. This is where the administration and many, many different states followed this, and they have really good prognostication as to where they think we're going to be as far as COVID-19 is concerned. And something I like that they added about 4 weeks ago was this masks, or 3 weeks ago, actually. You could see the green line. You could see where we are today. And they talked about if we started using masks back in July, when everything was really starting to go the wrong direction a couple weeks ago, that if we all use masks, you could see the number of daily infections would go down. We're still not using masks like we should. So if we don't use masks, we'll follow that red line if we continue to ease and continue to not be mindful of COVID-19. Now, where they project is that we'll be mindful and we'll go along that brown line. But if we all wear masks, we go along that green line. That just begs the question as to why people aren't using masks. It has nothing to do with what political party you're affiliated with. It has more to do with common sense. And this is daily deaths. It too, you can see, will go down if we all use masks. That's the green line. Red line, if we don't really do much at all, and then we start to expand again with the second wave, which is expected at the end of October, November. Or if the actual projection is it's going to continue to go down and won't start going up until October, November, but won't be as bad if we are not. I'm hoping we all start wearing masks. And this is the total deaths. We're at 224,546 is the projection by the time we get to November 1st, based upon our current course and the current amount of masking that we're doing. This is COVID-19 tests. Yes, we have more tests than anywhere in the world, and that's because we have the biggest problem, and the need to continue to test is out there. This is where we were in the middle of June. You can see we were at that 5% threshold. That is where we want to be. We actually want to be below 5% so we can do proper contact tracing. But this is where we are today for the United States, and you can see we're way above 5%. So where we went from mid-June is we went the wrong direction. We had an outbreak, and there are some states that are having a real issue. Florida being one of them, Georgia and Texas are all having real issues. The average now across the United States is 8.3% positivity rate. We need to get that below 5%. This is something that we're continuing to watch, and we really need to be doing 1 million tests per day. And that is what scientists were talking about way back when, and you could see that's where we're slowly but surely getting towards, but we definitely need a quicker turnaround on this as well. As far as California is concerned, finally, we have hit a plateau in cases, and it took us a long time to get to this plateau because it was a slow, methodical increase up. But we were at 346,000 a week ago. We're at 409,000 as of today. And we were adding 8,885 per day on a daily average for a week. That was 1 week ago's number. And we're at 9,013. So you can see we've actually kind of plateaued. And that is good. Because prior I was doing these reports, and every time I look at it, it was disheartening because it kept on going up and up and up for California. But at least we have plateaued at this point. And now, if we're all mindful, use masks and do proper social distancing, we can get this chart down. And as far as the county cases, of course, LA went from 140 to 162 in the last week. And Orange County went from 26,100 to 30,975 in the last week. LA was number 4 on the list, and I mean Orange County was number 4 on the list. Now it's number 2 as the most impacted county in the state of California. Now Riverside County is number 3, 30,900, and then we have San Bernardino went from 20,400 to 25,050, and San Diego went from 20,900 to 24,500. San Diego was number 3 on the list, and they've dropped to number 5. So San Diego kind of looks like they've got their act together and they're moving in the right direction. And here's also for Los Angeles, new cases in the last 2 weeks, we've gone up 36%. Hospitalizations are up 8%. That's the last 3 days that's yesterday compared to the last 3 days, up 8%. And that's how the state wants people to do it. And deaths in the last 14 days are up 16%. Now, as far as the reopening benchmark is concerned, because people are wondering, when can we open things up? And I had to do a lot of digging to find this because there's not a lot of people talking about this, but I want to know when we can start to reopen, if we're mindful, wear our masks, do our social distancing, because we've figured that out. That's what we need to do. That's why we've gone backwards. Your case rate needs to be at, if it's greater than 100 per 100,000, you're shut down. For Los Angeles, it's right now, and that is over the course of the prior couple weeks. And you can see we're at 414.3 cases per 100,000. That's just too many. And then hospitalizations are a 10%. If it's greater than a 10% increase, they want to see that come down. And hospitalizations for LA were greater than that, but that's actually now plus 7.8%. So that's okay. So right now we need to see the case rate come down in order for it to open up and get at 100 or below. And ICU availability needs to be greater than 20%. For LA, it's at 38%. So that's a benchmark it's making as well. It's always made that. There's always been enough ICU beds. So the macroeconomic outlook, there's before the coronavirus, everything looked fantastic. And then there's after the disease, everything looked really bad. It was a waterfall chart, meaning that it was negative, or it was a spike, meaning it was negative. So we got waterfalls and spikes all over the place, and it looked really dismal there for a moment. But that's what happens when you have a forced shutdown. And people are saying, Stephen, why do you follow so much on the macroeconomic stuff? And that is, the answer to that also lies, I don't want a W-shaped recovery, because also what happens with coronavirus, what happens with the national struggles, are what happens with our local housing market. So that's why we have to follow it all, because it has rents, evictions, the overall economy. We got to look at everything. So Forbes came out with something that said national mask mandate could save the U.S. economy $1 trillion. And that's their guesstimate. If everybody wore masks, and it would open things up and people would feel like going out and spending more, it would actually add $1 trillion to our economy. So that's another reason why I, as an economist, want to mask up. So if you want to mask up, this is me in a mask, my reports on housing mask. And if you're wondering where to get this kind of a mask, I've actually had a lot of people ask me where I get it. I actually got it from a website called allovershirts.com. And then you could just do custom, you can search the term custom masks, and you can make your own mask. It's pretty fantastic. And as far as initial claims of unemployment, you can see we're getting better. We're at 1.3 million was the last report. But if you go backwards in time, 1.3 million still even beats the Great Recession for every single week. 1.3 million beats all of the Great Recession. So, and this is what happens when you have a forced stoppage of the economy. And yes, we're in the midst of a recession, but I like to call it a pandestion. And that's because there's not one industry that brought us down. It is a forced stop of the economy to save a bunch of people's lives. That's what this was about. And as far as continuing claims of unemployment insurance, we're at 17.3 million. That's where we are. That was actually as of the end of July 4th. This comes out on a weekly basis. It's got a 2-week lag. And these are the number of unemployed. And you can see we're at 120, the number of employed, we're at 120.17 million people. So yes, we went from a place where prior to everything going to heck in a handbasket, we were at right around 129.73, and then we got to 127.98, the beginning of this pandemic, and then we fell. But now we're going back up. We have 120 million people that are gainfully employed, and we need to understand that. So understand, 120 million people employed. And as far as the unemployment is concerned and where it's been hit the hardest, this chart kind of says it all. This is from Statista. And if you have a bachelor degree, it's actually down 2% as far as change in employment. So, and then for people that are 25 to 54, it's down 8.8%. And then for everybody, it's down 10.5%. If you're 16 to 24, down 20.6%. So you can see the industries that are most affected are the ones that they're not really the long-term careers. And the no high school diploma is down 25.8%. So that's how where unemployment is really affecting the people that don't have the all the education, and it's also the younger age bracket. And this is the St. Louis Fed Financial Stress Index. And this thing went off the charts. When it goes up positive, that is that is not good. You can see what happened in the Great Recession to the left and where we went during this pandemic, this pandession. But you can see we went up and then we went down. It went up again, but I'm happy to report we just got a negative reading. And negative reading means it's actually good news. This is how much stress, financial stress there is in the market. You want this below zero. And it just got below zero again in the last reading that was just taken. And it's now at negative 0.1394. Just know that that is a good number. And as far as retail sales are concerned, retail sales are coming back up, and they're looking really good. So that's coming back. We also have forbearance. We need to talk about that really quick. Active forbearance plans. So there are a lot of people in forbearance, but that number is actually dropping. It dropped from 7.82% of all loans to 7.77% of all loans. And I need you to know that we need to start asking the question, were you in forbearance? And we're going to have to do that more and more as these people make themselves whole and work out some sort of agreement and come out of forbearance, and then might have to still sell their home. So we have to ask them if they're in forbearance. If they were, did you come up with a payment plan? And if yes, did they pay it off? And if no, they deferred it, which most people are going to defer their forbearance. So they're going to take all their accrued missed payments and are going to stick them at the end of the loan. So let's say that they have a $600,000 mortgage balance and they didn't pay $25,000 in mortgage payments. So when they go to sell their house, they're not only going to have to pay the $600,000, they're going to have to pay that difference of $25,000 as well. So $600,000 comes on the net sheet that they have to pay off, plus the $25,000 of forbearance that was deferred to the end. So that's why we need to ask them if they deferred their forbearance. And this is very interesting. This came out in Keeping Current Matters. I suggest you go to keepingcurrentmatters.com. Sign up at their blog section. There's a place on the right-hand side when you go into the blogs to enter in your email address and get this for free. And this is what came today. And I thought this was brilliant. Couldn't say this better myself. As far as all the people that are in forbearance, 59% have over 30% equity. So all those people that are expecting distressed sales, a big wave of them, it's not going to happen. They have too much equity. Because where our value is going right now, they're going up, not down. This is not the Great Recession. 18% have between 20 and 30%, and 13% have between 10 and 20%. Only 9% have 0 to 10%, and 1% have negative equity, which means that only 10% of all those, that 7.8 million people that are in forbearance are actually at risk if they come back and they lose their job of becoming a distressed sale. So there's not going to be a wave of distressed sales. And as far as purchase applications are concerned, this is done by the MBA, and what they said is it's up 19% year over year, and that is running now on, I believe it's 9 weeks straight of an upward trend of year over year. So it's positive year over year, 19%. That's how many people have at least gone in and put in an application to see what they qualify for on a mortgage to purchase. That's where we are today. So we need to play our cards right. That's it. That's how I feel about our housing market, the economy. We need to play our cards right as far as COVID-19 is concerned so that we do not get this second wave. And LA County housing market, let's get right into this portion of it. And we're right now in the midst of what I refer to as the spring market. We missed the spring. I know we're in the midst of summer, but the numbers we're experiencing right now match and beat most spring markets. That's how strong our market is right now today. It is sizzling hot. And this is the active listing inventory. This is why our market is so sizzling hot, because of low interest rates. And we have nothing on the market. Look at this. We are just about at 10,000 homes in the market. On July 9th, we were at 10,048. That was down 1% in 2 weeks. So we were going the wrong direction. Typically, we continue to increase until we get to the end of this month to the beginning or to the middle of August. That's where we typically peak in the inventory, but it looks like we've already peaked in the inventory. Last year, we were at 13,948. That was 39% more than where we are today. That's a lot more homes on the market compared to right now. And that's 39% more. And today I looked at it, I snapped the number, and before this meeting, and we're at 10,000, down 0.5%. So basically, we're holding steady at that 10,000 mark, and we're not really adding homes to the marketplace right now, like we normally do during this time of year. It's the lowest July since I started tracking the numbers for Los Angeles in 2012. So we have not seen the inventory this low since 2012. And embedded in the 2012 were a lot of short sales as well. So, and we're placing them all into escrow. So it is a totally different market in 2012 as well. So it's hard to compare this market to 2012. In 2007, prior or at the beginning of the Great Recession, people like to compare our marketplace today to the Great Recession. And I'm here to tell you the reason it's not is because we don't have any inventory compared to then. In 2007, we had 32,000 homes on the market in Los Angeles. I just told you we have 10,000 right now. So that's over 3 times as many homes on the market back then as where we are today. COVID-19 is still suppressing supply. At the beginning, it was suppressing supply and demand. And actually deferred demand is what it comes out to. But COVID-19 had a very, very large grip on supply. And even though we were unlocking before, it didn't matter. It still was suppressing the number of homeowners that were placing their homes in the market. And if you look at this, this is where we are right now. Number of new for sale signs in the past 4 weeks. So this was last Thursday, and I took the 4-week average, and the number of homes that were coming on the market for that 4-week period compared to the 4-week average was at, for LA County, is down 9%. Now, it was down 42%. So there's 42% fewer homes coming on the market. Now it's only 9% fewer number of homes coming on the market. So you can see it is still, COVID-19 is still affecting the number of homes on the market, but its grip on homeowners deciding not to place their homes on the market is beginning to diminish. But this is for all homeowners. They need to understand this. Attention homeowners, right now, you are running out of time. It's right now that you need to place your home on the market to cash in on the best time of the year to sell. As far as where the metrics make the most sense, they need to place their homes on the market today. They're running out of racetrack for taking advantage of the best time. The water is actually perfect right now. It's one of those things when you've ever gone to the beach and the water is like 75 degrees and you're going, holy cow, it's warm. And you thought it was going to be cold and it was really easy to get in. That's what we're talking about. Water's great, surf's up, and people need to understand we're reaching a peak in demand, and demand will start to slowly fall coming up shortly. So, and there's some counties where demand has already peaked. LA County, it's just about to peak. And as far as demand's concerning, it is absolutely been off the charts for as far as demand is concerned. COVID-19 is not suppressing demand at all, period. It is not preventing anybody from purchasing. And it's all thanks to these incredible mortgage interest rates. They are unbelievable. And if you saw this 5-1 ARM, look at the 30-year fixed rate. It traveled below 3%. And it's at 2.98%. That was as of last Thursday they took this report. I'm telling you, this is an all-time record. And we had week after week after week of new records. This 2.98% is just rocket fuel that is propelling our market forward. And it will continue to propel our market forward for all of this year. And as a result, we have this. We have a home that comes on the market that's looking really awesome. And we just have a gaggle of people that want to purchase it. Of course, they're all not wearing face masks, so this isn't very realistic, but I just want you to understand this is theoretically what it looks like as far as online traffic and as far as the interest is concerned in purchasing homes that are placed on the market at the right price. And if you look at this demand year over year, this is where we were, this is where we are right now. 2017 was a hot year, by the way. So we're beating 2017 right now for July. But it would have been interesting to see. I think that we would have beat July. It would be earlier in the spring had we not had COVID-19. That's what I was expecting. But on July 9th, we had 6,247 pending sales, and that was up 5% in 2 weeks. And you can see that green line. We had this V-shaped recovery that it was completely V. And then now within 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago on Thursday, so on July 9th when I took it, it wasn't as big of an increase. We're starting to hit the peak in demand. Last year, we were at 5,351. That's the purple line. That's the difference between this year and last year. 14% fewer pending sales over the last 30 days last year compared to right now. And we're still in the midst of the epidemic. And as far as Los Angeles is concerned, the second most impacted county in the United States. Today, 6,416. So it went up another 2.7%. Not a gigantic increase. It was up 5%. Now it's going to be up like 3% by the time we get to Thursday. That's not huge. And then after that, it's going to kind of plateau off, and I'll show you that. But it's the hottest expected market time since June of 2017, which is actually that red line. So when you go back and I look at all the expected market time, it beats the last several years until we get to June of 2017. And for right now, it's the hottest July since 2012. And in July's demand reading, there was a lot of pending sales that were short sales that never closed. So right now, I'm going to argue the hottest market that we've seen in recent memory. And this is where we typically peak between April and June. There's that we get that peak as far as Los Angeles is concerned in the as far as demand is concerned. And you can see, where did we peak this time? We're going to peak at this next mark, which is going to be towards the end of July, start of August. So we took our peak and moved it out. And why did we do that? Because of COVID-19. So we're going to peak. And then from there, you're wondering, where are we going to go? Well, kids are going back to school. We're already hearing about it. They were going to go to they were going to do a blended version of a little bit in school, a little bit outside of school, and kind of do this blend. Now it's all online, but it's school started. And once school starts, the attraction to moving starts to dissipate for many, many families. And that's why we always come down in terms of demand. We also come down in terms of inventory because there's not also a lot of homeowners that place their homes in the market if they have family homes. Still people do, just not at the same rate. Still people purchase, not at the same rate. And what we'll do is we'll start to come down as far as demand is concerned after the kids go back to school. So that's where what we can expect. And I get it. Mrs. Buyer, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, very, very frustrating to be a buyer in today's market. You write an offer, there was 12 offers that were made, and you're one of 12, and then somebody else gets it. Now there are 11 people that have to go back to the drawing board. And as far as the expected market time is concerned, this is where the expected market time is right now. And on July 9th, we were at 48 days. It was down 3 days for that 2-week period. So if you place your home on the market today, when are you going to go into escrow? 48 days from now. Last year, we were at 78 days. So much different than where we are. That's the purple line. Today, we're at 47 days. That's incredible. So we're actually gone down another because inventory's come down a little bit and demand's gone up a little bit. So we have an expected market time now of 47 days in Los Angeles. And where are we going from here? The expected market time will rise slightly after we hit that plateau in demand coming up in the next, on the next report is when I think it's going to happen. And then at the very, very end of the year, we get into the holidays and then things slow down further, and the expected market time typically rises at the end of the year. So that's what it looks like for the rest of the year. And as far as Arcadia is concerned, right now, Arcadia has a 113-day expected market time. Last year at this time, 187-day expected market time. And Sierra Madre is at an 86-day expected market time. Last year was at 97 days. Pasadena is at a 50-day expected market time. Last year was at 101. San Marino is at 114 days. Last year was at 217. Temple City is at 49 days. Last year at 118. Rosemead, 60 days. And I don't know why. I didn't put anything else for that. I don't know why. El Monte is at 68, is at 41 days. Last year was at 68. And Duarte's at 45 days. Last year was at 39 days. So Duarte's the only one that stands out and is a little bit slower than it was a year ago. But everywhere else across the board is a lot better than it was a year ago. And all has to do with supply and demand. We have very, very low supply, and we've got a lot of demand juiced by low interest rates. And that is creating pricing that's going up. And as far as the market overview is concerned, this is the closed sales. And closed sales is right here. This is where we were as of June. You can see in May it was way down. That's the olive colored line. Way down for May. It was down in April, and March was slightly down. So here's what it all works out. June of 2020, 4,330 closed sales for Los Angeles, and that was through the MLS. That's up 49% over May. So you can see that, yes, it's still lower than the prior years, but it's not as bad. So if you want to see, year over year, June is down 25%. So year over year, June down 25%. So yeah, that's not as strong as last year. However, year over year, May was down 52%. Year over year, April was down 37%. So April was the worst of it. It showed in the May numbers, and then it started getting better in May, showed in the June numbers. June started looking a lot better, which will show in the July numbers. So expect July numbers to be equal to or probably even better than recent years. So that's coming. And as far as the Los Angeles County luxury, which is 1.5 million plus, I could not believe how quickly luxury came back. And this was back in June. I did this, June 25th. The expected market time for all of luxury is 138 days. It beat the height in COVID-19 as far as how slow things got was at 469 days. And on March 5th, prior to COVID-19 lockdowns and all that stuff, we were at 155 days. So right now, luxury is doing better than all of 2020, all of 2019. The best that it did in 2019 was 182 days in April of 2019. So you can see right now, the luxury housing market is humming on all cylinders. And that was the report that I did called Luxury Returns. And this is the report that just came out that if you signed up, you'd get this. This is sitting on the market. It shows you where the current actives are and the ones that have been on days on market over 60 days. So if they've been on the market actively listed for over 60 days, in below 500,000, it's 32%. 5 to 750 is 29% of all the homes on the market have still been on the market for 60 days plus. My whole gist of this article is to explain why, even though it's a hot market in many, many ranges, why do we have so many homes that sit in the market for over 2 months? And there are a myriad of reasons why, and I go into that in that housing report so that you can get that, of course, to your sellers and the people who are thinking about placing their homes in the market to get them prepared to come on the market. So yes, in the luxury ranges, things sit, but they still sit even in the lower ranges as well. And it all has to do with pricing, condition, location. There's a number of things that I go over in the report. So you can go to reportsonhousing.com, REPORTS on housing.com, and click on subscribe. It's $15 per month or $150 per year. You get a month free using the coupon code Arcadia when you check out. And then there is a sample reports for you to take a look at in an FAQ section. And I do have a business page. I put a lot of content up there, Reports on Housing, YouTube channel, my old housing debriefs. You can go through there, send them to sellers that don't have Facebook. They can go there and they can actually see my housing debriefs as well. And then I am live every Friday at 3 p.m. on my personal page, SoCal Steven, open to the public. You just do facebook.com/SoCal Steven. And then I can answer any questions that you may have. And so I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to see if anybody does have a question. We can go ahead and answer them. So Anybody that has a question, I don't, if you can unmute yourself, I think you can, because I heard some people on. Go ahead and ask a question. I'll be more than happy to answer it for you. Anybody have a question?
I don't know. I think my brain is buzzing. There's an awful lot of information there. But I do appreciate you giving it. It's a lot of hard numbers to follow, but I'm glad it all looks really good. I'm very, very excited for where the next future is going to be going to. Thanks,
Yeah,
Steve.
no,
I really appreciate it.
I appreciate that, Sean. I have to bring that much information. My reports don't read like that. I go over one detailed piece and then just expand upon that and then go over what's going on, inventory, demand, and all that stuff. But as far as bringing this to agents is concerned, I want everybody to get the complete picture of what affects housing. It's COVID, it's the national numbers, and then we look at the regular housing numbers. So I appreciate that, Sean. Thank you very much. If anybody else has any questions, they can always contact me as well. Steven, S-T-E-V-E-N, @reportsonhousing.com. You can reach me on Facebook. I'm SoCal Steven, and you can reach me at facebook.com, Reports on Housing. I'd be more than happy to help anybody out there as well. Thank you very much, and go ahead and subscribe. Use the coupon code Arcadia, and I'd love to bring you the report. Thanks much for having me. I appreciate it.